on your TV set to avoid us getting that feedback. I mentioned that I will be joined by my guest, who is no other than Mr. Bartholomew Phiri. He is a political analyst. He is also the Socialist Party Lusaka Province Youth League chairperson. Good afternoon. Welcome to Lunchtime Chat.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the viewers out there.
All right. Time is ticking, time is ticking, time is running out. How are the campaigns going so far?
No, so far so good. We are just busy doing ourselves the very best that we can. Yeah, so hopefully that we manage, because time that we've been given is very limited. And like it used to happen, it wasn't a 3 months or 90 days, so to say, but in the same 90 days we saw that there was a derailment on the dissolution of parliament, and also the nomination processes had taken a little bit time. But anyway, so far so good.
Are you feeling the pressure, especially when you look at some camps where you even see people saying, no, that's AI generated photos? Are you feeling the pressure on the other side, since you also belong to an opposition political party? Are you feeling the pressure as things normalize, stabilize? Because at one point there were also other issues regarding the party that you're coming from.
All right, so I would say everything has got its own time. And we don't feel any pressure at all, because at the end of the day, elections are very, unique. And when it comes to the polling day, people make decisions not based on the crowd. So we are not feeling the pressure, but we are trying our level best to galvanize support to ourselves.
All right. Quite interesting. I also asked you, we've heard other people saying AI generated, photos. What does that mean? Away from you, probably you feeling the pressure, but what does that mean, seeing a number of people turning up, just to be part of these campaigns that we're seeing taking place? We also have some independent candidates who are, pulling crowds as well.
Yeah, so I think we have seen this in the past, and this is not the first time that we have seen a political figure holding a rally and then people turn up in a huge number or a massive. We have seen that happening. Like I have said, at the end of the day, the decision has to be made individually, not through groupings. So we are seeing what is happening, and we all know that elections at the end of the day are done on a ballot paper. So we are not scared of any grouping. We are not scared of any crowd that is being pulled. But we really have to do our level best to ensure that we convince the people, the electorates, on whom to give a vote.
All right. You're coming from the Socialist Party. Not long ago, there were, we also saw just your party trying to, explain to the people what was happening in regards to the running mate. And I saw in some posts where you're saying people should not panic, people should just relax, everything is under control. How's the situation right about now? Is that something that people should be worried about in regards to the running mate?
All right, so Comrade Taisia, this is something that is it's very clear and open. No one just wakes up from home, goes to ECZ and files his nomination. There are processes that are done. So the first stage is to simply go to the Electoral Commission, Examination Council of Zambia, where you have to get a confirmation letter before submitting your nominations. So if you were cleared by the Examination Council of Zambia, and you've been cleared also by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, then are they telling us that what the ECZ, both the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Examination Council of Zambia did, was not a good job? So the thing is that we are not going to be moved by any claims or whatsoever, because what we know is that the process was done, and we did meet the requirements that are needed. So the running mate did meet the requirements that are needed, and that is why they were declared officially that they have successfully filed in the nominations. So we are just surprised that they're trying to make gimmicks here and there. But anyway, we are not going to comment much on that because the matter is in court.
All right. You can call us on lunchtime chat. We are looking at dangers of political regionalism as well as tribalism. Maybe you, as a political analyst, maybe you can just break down the two terms when we say regionalism as well as tribalism. What does that mean? How do you break it down for someone who's watching for the very first time, especially those who will be going to vote?
All right, thank you. That's an interesting question. And I think first thing first, we need to understand first where this is coming from. Zambia has its history, and it's imperative that we follow history very well to understand where we are. So like in the case of your question, to say, maybe we try to break it down to understand what tribal politics is or what tribalism is, regionalism is. I think in my explanation, let me just try to visit history a little bit so that we get an understanding and get to distinguish between the two. So this whole thing of tribalism or regionalism has not started today. This is something that started during the colonial era. It was imposed on us by our colonial masters. The British government started grouping up people based on tribe and religion. So when we talk about tribe, we are simply talking about a specific ethnicity group. For instance, like Bemba, Nsenga, we'll talk about Tonga, maybe Lozi, that's a tribe. But when you talk about legion, a legion now, we talk about tribes that belong to a certain particular area. For instance, like in Eastern Province. So Eastern Province is a legion, okay, that has Nsengas there, there are Tumbukas there, we've got Ngonis there, we've got Chewas. The same applies to all these other areas that we can talk about. So the British government had to make, they started creating those groupings where they get people from the southern part on their own, people from the northern part on their own. In short, they started creating what I may call as reserves. So for instance, like the southern reserve was simply reserved for the Tonga people, okay? Then we had the northern reserves, which was reserved for the Bemba people. And we had also the Barosso reserves, which was reserved for the Lozis. So those are some of the border lines or the mappings that our colonial masters had made. Furthermore, they went on and started now appointing chiefs. They used what is known as a chief system, where a chief for the Bemba becomes a judge for the Bemba people. So in short, our native courts were based on tribe. So we had no Zambian law. What was there, it's tribal law. So meaning it was based on a tribe, and the chiefs, for instance, like the people from Eastern, it means a chief from this area who would now become the judge for his own people. The Tongas also have their own judge, and this judge is their own chief. So all these were done by the British government. And coming fast forward after that period, we saw that the coming in of Kaundas and others now, they started fostering the issue of one Zambia, one nation. So in short, to break it in its simplest term is that tribal politics is simply based on what tribe am I? I'm Bartholomew Phiri, I'm a Chewa by tribe. Then I now go to Eastern Province in my own land and tell the people to vote for me because I'm coming from their tribe. Okay, different from I go to Eastern Province and convince the entire region, which consists of the Tumbukas, the Chewas and Sengas, to vote for me because I'm coming from their region. So this is what it means.
Now, what potential does it have when it comes to people deciding, especially the electorates, who are in the spirit and were counting down, less than 60 days before the election? What influence does this have when it comes to electorates making the right decisions?
So it poses a very dangerous thing, because electorates will not vote based on integrity, based on they will not vote based on integrity, of course, or even based on their credibility of a leader. They will vote based on tribe and region. Okay, this person is Bartholomew Phiri and is coming from our region, is our tribe. So if we do not vote for this person, then we'll be left out. So there are a number of factors that contribute to that. Of course, if we talk about the sharing in of the national cake, which is not done fairly, it also influences that, because I feel people tend to make such decisions based on we are left out maybe in terms of development. So I think if we get to choose our very own, then development will easily come to our doorstep. So it poses a very dangerous thing, because we are ending up now voting in incompetent leaders simply because they are our relatives, or this is our own son, is coming from our own region and is coming from our own tribe. So there's no problem in us voting for this particular person, even without seeing whether they have a vision for this country. So that's the danger it poses, I feel.
Okay, but how can we move away from that? You know, you also talked about others saying, no, let's vote for this person because he's coming from, you know, our region. We just need to put him there, even when you see that this person cannot perform. Is that still happening even now? And would you say that has, you know, influenced certain decisions that are being made, and seeing lack of development taking place in a number of areas?
All right. Yeah, what is happening? Okay, let me say this. In order for us to get rid of this, we need to uphold the One Zambia, One Nation motto. Let's not just take it as a mere slogan. We need to take it so serious. I was trying to give in a little bit of history on where we are coming from and where we are today. So when you look at the coming in of the Kaundas, you realize that the tribal issue and regional issue had still taken dominance even at that time, because we saw that there was Hali Mwanga Nkumbula, and when you look at the popularity or maybe the huge following that was following him was based to the southern part and also the Balasoland area. And then when you look at Simon Masaka Pwepwe, northern part also, then the Kaundas under the UNIP, also Lusaka and Copper Belt and some parts of Eastern Province. So all that was being influenced because of the same issue of tribe and religion. Now, Kaunda realized that this was simply bringing division, because our colonial masters, the British government, that's what they were using. They were using the divide rule in order to protect land and also amass taxes to themselves. So Kaunda saw this is a danger. And if we continue at that trajectory, I think the One Zambia, One Nation we have today was not going to be in existence. So he started championing this slogan, the motto of One Zambia, One Nation. But some politicians have taken it so light and now using the issue of tribal and religion as a political tool, which I feel it has to be condemned at its highest level. And it has to start with our leaders. If the top leaders of this country would denounce that, would condemn that, trust me, we can get rid of this. Because it wasn't as much as it is even today.
So are you saying top leaders are the ones who are, you know, bringing up these issues of tribalism, influencing the electorates without them even realizing?
For sure, they are taking advantage of that because they want to amass votes from themselves. So they are taking advantage of, number one, less development that is taken maybe to an area. So they'll say, we are not developing because maybe the president is this tribe. You get the point? Because we've heard these words being pronounced from our leaders. Others have been even jailed for all these hate speech and then tribal remarks and whatever. So they are taking advantage of that. Now, it's a duty of the top leadership from the president coming down to condemn such. If politicians are going to use such words to take advantage of the electorates and then influence them to vote based on tribe and region, then we are destroying this country. So what I'm simply saying is that our leaders should ensure that they condemn such. And also, we've got laws that were put in place that deals with such issues. Why is it that the application of the law is not done fairly? Because you would see someone uses tribal remarks and they are left. Others have been arrested for the same. So where is the difference? Because if I decide to say, Comrade Taizia, you are coming from this legion, you are not our own and we cannot give you votes. And then I go ahead and influence people to vote against you based on who you are, based on the tribe and the legion you are coming from. And I'm left unpunished. Then if you do the same, you get arrested, maybe possibly you're even jailed for that. Then it means I as a leader am not doing my job very well. So I become incompetent at that stage. So this is where I feel in order for us to get lead of all this, I think there must be that seriousness from the top leadership.
All right. You're watching Lunchtime Chat and we're looking at dangers of political regionalism as well as tribalism. So you can call us on the number appearing on the screen. Those that are coming into your communities to campaign, do you think they are campaigning using tribalism or rather regionalism? And if such has happened, I think you can still go and probably get to mention names of people who you feel are using that and what you think could be the dangers of having people being voted for because they coming from a particular district or coming from a particular province. So you can call us on the number that is appearing on the screen. Electorates lacking awareness when it comes to issues regarding the elections and also them not, practicing regionalism as well as tribalism. Is there a lack of awareness, or is it because you people, especially politicians, you only go there to ask for your votes and not paying attention to whether these people understand why they are voting? Are they voting because of tribal lines? Are they voting because of regionalism?
All right, so looking at that aspect, I think there must be a little bit of works to be done in order for the electorates to be well informed and get to understand why do they involve themselves in elections. I think this whole thing is very simple. Zambia is a democratic country, and people are supposed to elect leaders of their choice, not based on tribe or whatever. But when you look at what is happening in our country today, there are a number of things that are contributing to the same. Of course, we would say Njala is one of them. You know, when people are hungry, their stomach are empty, they would believe anything that you tell them because they are coming there maybe kufuna chabe kutenga kotundrama, you give them some monies, and in getting those monies, they will believe anything that you tell them. Even if they have been misled by these politicians or by us politicians, they will still go on and do the same. And also, I feel like I don't know, maybe I can say it's because of the level of being informed or illiterate, so to say. You would see that there are people who also accept to vote based on tribe. So we need we need a lot of sensitization, teaching the people what voting means and why do people vote. So people vote to ensure that they elect their representatives that mean well. And when we talk about electing representatives that mean well, we do not mean electing a person because he's your tribe, electing a person because he's coming from your region. No. We need to elect people based on credibility, like I have said, also integrity, and what is their vision for the community or maybe the nation at large. So people need to be informed. And when you look at the society that we have, we've got two societies. We have the society of the educated and the uneducated. So you would realize that most people that are being taken advantage of are those that are not educated. Because trust me, a person that was well informed, a person that knows, they will not just wake up and decide to vote for you because you are Phiri and then you are coming from Eastern Province, so they should vote you in. They will also look at your credibility, your integrity itself, and also what is your vision towards the community, or why is it that you want a public office? What is it that you want to offer on the table when you are elected into office? As obviously it could be maybe a councillor, mayor, a member of parliament, or even a president at large. So I think they need to be sensitized to look in all those areas, and like just choosing a person because it's coming from the same region or a tribe. This is where we're getting it wrong.
You can call us on the number appearing on the screen, or you can drop text messages to the very number appearing on the screen. Avoid using strong language so that you don't probably injure any person. Could be even people watching out there. So avoid using strong language on this platform. We are looking at dangers of political regionalism as well as tribalism. So you can call on the number appearing on the screen. Some text messages here. This one says, Good afternoon, presenter. It is a very good program. These politicians, they shouldn't divide the country. All right. This other text says, political regionalism is bad because it leads to one-party state by, it's came through by Diab all the way from Sesheke. This other one says, hi, my presenter. The tribes with a type of mindset in Zambia are Easterners and Southerners. It's me, like from Choma. Eastern. Let's try and accommodate a few callers. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. It seems like we lost that caller. You can call us back on the number appearing on the screen. We keep on receiving text messages as well as calls, so you can call on the number appearing on the screen. I mentioned that ensure that you start by reducing the volume on your TV set. Still on issues of tribalism, there was a time that we saw people, wanting to bring out lists of those who were, cabinet ministers and a number of issues, whereas there was also an audio that was also talking about the same. How does this get to affect the governance system if we go by, looking at to say because this person is coming from this tribe, then they should not be appointed to this position? How does that now get to affect the governance system?
So now that question responds to my response that I gave to say people should be voted into office based on credibility and integrity. And the vision, of course, also the dedication, patriotism, and all that we can mention. So I was simply saying, if you are going to vote in a person based on tribe, then that becomes a problem. Similarly, even on issues of appointing ministers, permanent secretaries, so forth and so on, should not be done based on tribe. They should be done based on qualifications, of course, integrity, and also credibility. If I'm going to appoint a person because is my brother, we are from the same region or from the same tribe, then we are simply dividing the nation. We are simply, in fact, there's one text there which says the issue of tribalism and regionalism brings about one-party state. Yeah. Truly, yes. It can. Why? Because I'm Phiri from Eastern Province and I decide to have a cabinet full of Easterners. So to a larger extent, it's not only one party state. It exceeds now to be one region. If you may like, you can even call it one region state, so to say. So this is very dangerous. A nation, let me talk about collective leadership, so that I try to craft my message very well so that the people out there can understand easily. We must stand on collective leadership. So when we talk about collective leadership, we are simply talking about all people being involved, regardless of their tribe. Bembas, Easterners, Lozis, Tongas, whatever tribe you are. All the, is it 72, 73 tribes of this country should be also inclusive in the governing system of this country. If we begin choosing people or appointing people based on tribe, then we, the top leaders, are destroying the country. That's why I was saying this question responds to what I was saying. This whole job should be done by the top leadership. The president, when appointing cabinet ministers, permanent secretaries, there must be that mutual balance to ensure that we are walking the talk. We cannot preach unity. We cannot preach one Zambia, one nation, when it's only one region that is occupying positions in government. Then that becomes a problem.
What has been your observation when it comes to these appointments that we get to see? What has been your observation from all these parties that we've had leading this country? What has been your observation in regards to the appointment of these positions?
I'll be very honest with you. Most of these appointments have not been done on merit. Because if we begin looking or introspecting cabinets one after the other, from the Kaundas, Chiluvas, also Mwanawasa, Lupia Banda, Michael Sata, Edgar, and the current one, you would realize that all those talks have been there, where people have raised concerns about, appointing leaders from one region. And that is why, if as a Socialist Party have been so vocal on this, and we really condemn such, because we know that this brings about division. So our observation is that most of these appointments have not been done on merit. Of course, some of these heads of state have tried their level best, but still talkings have been there. So we need to change the way we do things as a country. So the main observation here is that appointments have not been done on merit or have not been done based on integrity and credibility.
Let's try and accommodate small callers. You are through to lunchtime chat. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Abramu.
Good afternoon. You can go ahead with your contribution. Zikomo.
Zikomo, Abramu. Mnyamata huyu akamba bwino kwambiri balancing mkayaona maningi okuboma mene ilipo mkangana maningi wakulu polisi masoja is not distant province ya balancira huko ukamba bwino maningi one wene banda Phiri bose baliko watu wopunzira soja bala chufunika maningi mukamba bwino maningi ngati mabwela pambano swapping baikale gurubuno vanhu vose one Zambia one nation. Uyu mamwika hapa ndiwe mkuu wa polisi, wewe ndiwe mkuu masoja banda mulenga wamamukone sebuno bwino iboma kulibere kwa mulenga loko wa banda kulibere hivi ndio tumwende kuli kwanza
mudishwa banda
halo
nati mudishwa ve mukamba kulibiretu atukulibiretu wa banda
masoja kula polisi banda na Phiri mnaona kwaliko nikuti kulibere kwa mtale kulibe ona sasa hivi ndi vidi vuto balance wozero kuti mkoona sasa maningi tikalakwa nzabaza kuti banda akuziwa kuti uyu muthu ni wanga uyu ujamene swa kuziwa umangiwa loko weza ufuna umangiwa so can you balancing vena kamba mnyamata wakamba bwino kwambiri dead balancing vintu tikale bwino bwino ndiye kuti one Zambia one nation ilo ndola bwino bwino zikoma mlango sana
zikoma banda. You can call us on number appearing on the screen. We're looking at the dangers of political regionalism as well as tribalism. So as you call, ensure that you start by reducing the volume on your TV set and avoid using strong language on this platform. I'm still with Mr. Bartholomew Phiri, who is a political analyst. He is also coming from the Socialist Party. So if you have comments, contributions, you can call us on the number appearing on the screen. Let's also accommodate some more callers. You're through to lunchtime chat. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
You are through to lunchtime chat. Good afternoon. Ramlenga Weshenko volume.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Yes, you can go ahead with your contribution, Ramlenga.
Neni wangatapezi kwa mpali wa bruru wanga wa Phiri mwamene watu kozera wakamba vintu va mushe maningi.
Ramlenga.
Sir.
Are you done with your contribution?
Oh yeah.
ya nikamba kuti ndi abo bapiri ndi ma leaders wametufuna mu Zambia ndi ma leaders ya bwino.
All right, Mamlenga, when you decide to move away, or reduce the volume completely, you can call us. But I think he's gotten your point in regards to him, saying the right things. You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where are you calling from?
I am from Sorezi.
Okay, you can go ahead with your contribution.
Abalanda bakola phone bali regionalism. Nabona kusolve twebona. Ama-appointments tayaweme. Eshe bakene bakateka. Nisho balista nakusana. Bakapokola bakayamba mu education more say. Yaba balance of makumbi no promotion. Kano se kudu makuno ode ipera. Fish ngefe baliranda abantu. Ero tule umfanga baranda abantu we pay attention. Yabale bepa abantu awe. Regionalism yana ichiramo. So abakesa pabuteko please to papa ta balance ni kofi. Mwe bali tona wani mwe bama leaders. Mwanta promise if it's coming to station to win my elections. But ngomesa power. Fimbi. So yeah, mitundi na mwandi na so zile Monica Shaburo wino sisire Monica. Atotera.
Thank you very much. This is Lunchtime Chat. We're looking at dangers of political regionalism as well as tribalism. You can call us on the number appearing on the screen, or you can simply drop a text message. And for those of you following us live on Facebook, you can equally do the same. Remember, as you call, sometimes also give solutions, not just identifying problems. Sometimes also give solutions. How do we move away from tribalism as well as regionalism? You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Mwachoma bwanje.
Tachoma bwino mwachoma bwanje.
Kambeko na ife. Naposha kona babanda abo. Naposha kwa banda kusinda huko. Ife dali machena wa UPND ndivyo ntingakambe. Ife UPND tula shaitanture yende.
Tikamba pali tribalism na regionalism
ba tribalism kwa ndiye na vileta stenzo viziba. Bana tribalism so UPND na ileta. Ndio na ileta guys. Ife stenzo hizi tribalism patira badira mu Zambia. Stenzo zote bin one Zambia one nation. Manje ya tribalism hizi bila school under UPND.
Mudishua
tribalism.
Mudishua.
Ati?
Mudishua maizi bila hapa tribalism.
Mami ni very sure. Since 1964, munomzame tribalism stenzo viziba. Na viziba manje. That's why Isabella tolo muntu aluvyanya just because ndamtonga mungo support. Ife si supportera so inendiro kuchipata. Na taluvyanya lungu ndize mpawa paje vitenda kuvotera UPND. Tabataona tumakanda ya paka. So UPND na veve vintu sivili gulo mcharo. But bantu kaba just because mtoto watu supportive. Sima supportera so ya muntu ngataluvyanya ruvyana. So munga UPND bakangiwa. Bafunika che kuchoka hapo. Pase mundu wili na maketi zuru bakangiwa wa UPND. So na tribalism ivetaizi mu UPND na majanki tazira mu UPND. So bakangiwa, this is the West government in Zambia. Batanture bache bachokepo. Bakepo mundu wili na maketi zuru. Baina mitima za bantu wa UPND aba. Bakamba chepa free education na CDF nyanga ni government. Bantu bazaji free education. Education in number 6 1964. Bakaskama chepa ngani education. Lunga ndio popular tukunzita education one.
Apiri. You know, Apiri always calls to talk about, sometimes to give solutions to some of these problems. Mr. Phiri says tribalism started just during the time of the party which is in power. How true is that?
I think in my response, I will say I was giving history on how we got to where we are today in terms of regionalism and tribalism. So I would say when Kaunda came in, he saw that there was a danger of that nature. And he began advocating for one nation, one Zambia, one nation, trying to end the issue of tribalism. So maybe Mr. Phiri should say it has been massively exposed maybe under this administration, because this is when it has reached its peak and almost everyone is talking about the same. Because some good 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I think we never knew about the issues of where you're coming from, what is your name, and if somebody says I'm Chiwola Monde, then we should say no, this person does not belong to us. I think this has worsened now than before, but I'm not in agreement of saying it was started by the UPND, no, because as a person that have studied Zambian politics, I've seen that the issue of tribe and whatever was done by our the British colonial government that we had, because they gave us these borderlines, mappings and whatever, grouping people based on region and tribe. So it was started by them.
Right. I hope Phiri Mandela. You can call us on the number appearing on the screen. You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, madam?
I'm okay. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Zuru Thompson, calling you from Lusaka, Kanyama constituency.
All right. You can go ahead with your contribution.
In Tekianga Bali program, madam. By the way, thanks for this program. I'm enjoying the program. Tekianga niyakuti my politicians right now are very selfish. So wazabwera pa TV monga apo wazatiuza ati osachita tribalism. Wao wakaenda kuja kumalali vambo kama ati ini ndini wakwamene kuno so mfani kuvotera mwana wana. So ejawe dio kamba ati nifani kuvotera mwana wana. Which means meaning ati ngati mundu swakuja vandu swafanga kumvotera. Ijaja mawedi ndi amene achita separate. So like this time around ilimaningi wesi. So naise pa 13 tizaziva vochita tizakonga vamene vatipunzisa vemve na manambers mwamene achokera kuja kuside kwao sinza kamba zina vati manambers akoti mwachokera kuside kwao paja povota naise tizachita va same but sinza kamba ko zina kuja kuchoka manambers yacha.
But now isn't that dividing and you promoting division?
15 August. Thank you very much.
Isn't that now promoting division if we'll have people saying because they did this and they did that, then even us we're going to revenge? Is that the type of politics that we're looking at? Politics of revenge, to say since Kuja the last elections, they voted for their person, then even us we're going to vote for our person who's coming from this particular tribe?
I think, Comrade Taizia, it was here where I was saying I would promote that the recruitment of civil servants should not be done based on the region where they're coming from. I gave an example of saying if I want to save in the Ministry of Health, maybe I'm coming from Eastern Province, then I should not be employed and deployed in Eastern Province. Instead, I should be deployed somewhere else where I don't belong. And also, I shouldn't be deployed. I'll find rest there. Instead, I was recommending that I think singles should be the ones that we take to the other side. Well, it sounds like a joke, but trust me, I was looking at where we are today. It's not an easy thing to handle this issue of tribalism, but I think in having, the intermarriage processes, I think that would curtail the issue of tribalism. Because take for instance, if someone from Eastern Province is being employed as a doctor or maybe a nurse or a police officer and is single, by the way, taken to Western Province or Southern Province, definitely you can't tell me that sazakumbirako kamkashana kuja kaminanga kwatire. So marrying that lady from there, kuzankala vana vazachoka. Only that generation, I feel, would bring change. Why? Because the issue of revenge game is not going to end now. Like I am seeing things the way they are.
Yes, watch the revenge. I'll come back to watch the revenge. Maybe if you can.
This is what I'm saying.
Also try to hold your thoughts. That was watch the revenge. Yes, we're to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Hello.
You are through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Okay, I need TV uko.
Namutumina KBN TV.
Hello?
You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Madam mwa Bombe.
I'm kwa mwa Bombe 9. Mitulera ndana vanani.
Okay, niba Godfrey mwabakumufulira.
Okay, but good for you. You can go ahead with your
No
contribution.
program nayo amasana madam.
Today on Faba Godfrey.
Icho tulingireyo ku kitali kyana mbwano ireswa pakamisha sana mainda marriage. Because nga zakweba kya abantu bali opana omubemba opa kalubale aupa kwa kuchipata upo mtonga iyo inshu ya regionalism na tribalism muzambia date kube ero nga mwatimu mwone sana ilingi abachita promote tribalism sana ni ba politician batu mwaraza sangati politician nakwata for example naramye baraiki nakwata nangwa Southern province wakulya kuinyalera ndati stronghold yesu wakula nangwarera ndati kuno kulwakula ni stronghold. So if you feel any tribalism nayamba ero na position mwaro sangati let's say ndepera example let's say umuntu nga mulamba president ero nombale bula pelimbi abalamba bambuya wakwe bashani ni tribalism tetipo na setera mukwati
Twatotela. You can also call us on the number appearing on the screen. Try to be brief so that we can accommodate as many callers as we can accommodate as we continue looking at the dangers of tribalism and regionalism, looking at the periods that we're in. We're heading into the general elections, counting down less than 60 days remaining. We are counting down. What's your take on tribalism and regionalism? You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm on my way getting to Lusaka.
Okay.
My name is Mumbela.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Commenting on the issue of regionalism and tribalism. Madam, it's very unfortunate that most Zambians or most callers I have heard on your platform here, they are not being factual. They are not being factual. They've just come up with this propaganda, trying to tarnish other people, you know. So,
sorry, which people, maybe, caller, if you can also give clarity, which people do you think they are tarnishing? Like, which people did you hear them mention?
Oh, okay. Hello?
Yes, if you can respond to that as well.
Yes, madam. They were saying that the current government has just put the people from their tribes, which is not true. I'm ready to give you the list now of the permanent secretaries who were in President Edgar Lungu's government. And you will find that all the permanent secretaries, all of them, they were coming from a certain part of this country. So this, what I'm telling you now is correct. If you allow me, I can go through mentioning all those permanent secretaries one by one.
Maybe if you can just mention at least 5.
Oh.
Yes, just 5 so that you can mix it, yes.
You are saying I mentioned 5, madam?
Yes, at least 5.
Okay. That's fine. We had the permanent secretary defense. Permanent secretary defense, Mr. Mwila. We had the permanent secretary. We had permanent secretary Yaruma Gomez. These are ministers, actually. These are ministers. Let me go through, madam.
All right, you can still just share that on Facebook, because we're also live on Facebook right about now, so you can share that on Facebook due to time. I know time is not with us, so we would also want to accommodate as many callers as we can accommodate. This other text message reads, Tribalism Dalemanayo, thanks for your program. This other text says, on the aspect of ending tribalism, how best can appointments be to promote inclusion? It is argued some tribes don't produce technocrats. It came through from Ignatius all the way from Kawe. How true is that? Maybe we'll close with that. As well as some tribes do not produce technocrats. Which tribes?
That is a lie.
Okay, which tribes?
I'm sure he's in a better position to respond to that. All I can say is the man is lying.
But you know, again, I heard somebody saying there's a certain tribe. That tribe, most of the people, it's either I don't know how true that is. Somebody
Obviously,
has said
he's been exposed to that, to those people he knows, Vamtuambari and whatever. But some of us that have got friends, I think I've got learned people from all angles of this country. Myself seated here, I've got friends from the Tonga land, I've got friends from the Bemba land, the Lozis, the Luvales, the Kaondes. You know, Bemba say, umano shenda tasha nyino kunaye.
So abatabaenda.
Obviously abatabaenda. Because monga ifamility maenda kuma areas yosiana. I've been to Solwezi, I've been to Selenje, I've been to Itezitezi, I've been to Siavonga, I've been to Chilundu, I've been to Eastern, I've been to Livingstone. You know, I've gone in all these, most of these areas. Isha monapo atawe, abasambiza fyo kubabemba, nangu batonga, nangu balozi, nangu bashana, awe nangu muklasi. Tatuwale monapo fiati this tribe yeka fye ebale pasa fyama number 1. Nangu pa university takwale ati aba fye ebale chitafye graduate beka. We see different names there. That's why I'm saying the man is lying. So it's not about this tribe is able to produce technocrats. No, all tribes do that. But what is needed is that when we want to give appointments, let's give appointment on merit. You know, there are people that have the necessary qualifications. If they present their qualifications and they are not being given those opportunities to serve because of who they are, that's where the problem is. So there's another person who was talking about intermarriage issues here. Similar with what I was saying.
You've been speaking about intermarriages.
Yes.
I think this is the third time you're speaking about
This is the third time
Do you think
I'm
that will be
speaking
the
about it.
solution too?
Because my understanding, Taizia, tells me that, for instance, if you are Nsenga and I'm Bemba, or let me put it in this way, me, I'm from Eastern Province, I'm Chewa stroke Nsenga, and a little bit of some Tonga tribe, because my late young brother, the last born in our family, is Tonga by tribe, okay? The son to former member of parliament for Bwengwa constituency, Japhet Monde, under the UPND. If my brother was not late, by now he would have been married. So the children that he would have, maybe from whichever woman we can talk about, whether from Eastern, Lozi or Tumbuka or Kaonde or whatever, those would still be my children. So my children and his children were going to be brothers and sisters. So if that generation grows up, do you think there will be those issues of tribal and regionalism? It will not be there. Why? Because you look at the other person as my own brother, my own blood. Okay? That's why I keep talking about this, because personally I feel it's one way to curtail this whole issue. So long makuchipata wazapitiza ukwatira na veka veka. Bemba veka veka. Trust me, the only relationship that will be sharing is Chimbuya. You are Bemba, I'm from Eastern, then Tangarana Chimbuya. Even the same, I think we can use it to be the best example that we can give. How did the Chimbuya issue between the Easterners and the Bembas came about? Yeah. We are told that wakuchipata banaindo poga wasikazi wavene ubabemba. So they went there and married. That's why there's that relationship ya Chimbuya, and then you don't see them fighting. So if that can be inculcated everywhere, trust me, the issue of tribalism and regionalism will be a thing of the past.
So the last text says, good afternoon, KBN TV. There is no tribalism in Zambia. We people live together in communities, churches, schools, and in all walks of life. It is only in politics. And we're closing with that text message. Thank you very much for making an appearance on Lunchtime Chat. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to make a response, or maybe I wanted to add up something that the writer there has forgotten. It's not, it's an error to say there's no tribalism in the country. And say in politics, that's where tribalism is, because politics is everywhere, and everything that we do, even key decision making, the key decisions that are being made, they're made by politicians. Governance itself is done by politicians. So if there is tribalism in politics, it means even down there, there's tribalism. I just thought of maybe giving a credit to that one.
All right. No, thank you very much for coming through. And this is where we come to the end of today's Lunchtime Chat. I had requested our caller who said he was going to, share a list of those who were appointed. So I think he shared Defense Northern, D. Mwila, S. Kampiongo, which has to be Stephen Kampiongo, Home Affairs Northern, A. Chiteme, that's National Development Northern, A. Yaluma, Commerce, Chitalu, Health, J. Chanda, Water, Buale, N. Finance, Mulenga, Shimba. All right, this list goes on and on. We were looking at tribalism and regionalism. And of course, we're touching the dangers of that, looking at the periods that we're in and how does it get to also influence voters, or rather electorates, when it comes to voting for their preferred candidate. I've been your host, Taisia Chela, and in the studio, I was joined by my guest, Mr. Bartholomew, who is a political analyst. He is also the Socialist Party Lusaka Province Youth League chairperson. And I've already said the topic that we're looking at. I've been your host, Taisia Chela. I'm back again tomorrow at exactly 13 hours on Lunchtime Chat. Have a lovely afternoon. Goodbye.
Did you know that registered voters and patriotic Zambians alike from across the country watch and follow KBN TV as Zambia decides this August? For in-depth analysis of political news and information, stay with KBN TV.